Hey, good evening, everyone. Here, let me, sorry, I had to adjust my desk. Lost track of time. All right. Hey, everyone, thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. I definitely know that you might want to be other places tonight, or you have other places that you might want to be. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. I need to adjust something. There we go. I was just told my mic was a little high, so I brought that down a little bit. How's that? Okay. Alrighty. So tonight I thought I would talk a little bit about something that I get asked fairly often. I mean, over a year's time, I get asked, especially by new traders, maybe traders just joining us in our membership, what's my daily routine like? What do I do? So that's what I want to talk about. So I've got 5 slides, and then we're going to go look at some charts, and well, that's what we're going to do. So the first topic tonight will be the trading routine, and the second topic is we'll be looking at charts, and we'll be looking at how we'll basically pick charts for tomorrow, and because that's part of my routine. So we'll take a look at that. Let's see, I need to open up. There we go. All right. Let's see, make sure there's any questions. Where else would anyone? Thank you, John. That's awful kind of you. John says, where else would anyone of your favorite 91 friends would rather be? Thank you so much. That made my evening. I do appreciate that. I really do. That's made my evening right there. Big old grin on my face. Thank you. Okay, so let's do this. Figure out how to use PowerPoint. There we are. Okay, so this is my day. I actually thought about putting pictures up, and I thought that wouldn't be wise. I just didn't think that would be wise. So here's what happens. I started with an evening, so we're gonna look at an evening, the market close basically, or close to it. Then we're going to look at the morning. We're going to talk about the morning, maybe midday, and then we're back at that evening. So that's kind of what we're going to look at. Alrighty. So at about, and all the times are Eastern, okay? So about 3:15 Eastern, about 45 minutes before the market closes, I start looking at my account, the Road to Wealth, and I've got to make some trading decisions. Let's see here. Can I do this? Sure I can. Can make it red. There we go. So I'm going to come over here, and do I need to close anything out for a profit? You know, I want to look at my account, and I want to decide if I need to close something out or maybe take a partial position before we get into the close. So that's one thing I'm going to do. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm also going to look at my account, and I'm going to decide if I need to take some losses. Do I have something that I want to get out of, that I don't want to hold overnight, that, you know, just take my loss and be done with it? So from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check basically for end of the day charts. So the LTA scanner for end of the day buys is what I'm going to look for. And so I may come over here to, I may look at a scanner window here, and I may come look at Ford or WY or KHC, ATVI. Look at those charts, and if I like those charts, I will flag them in TC2000. That's the program I use, TC2000, for charting. So what I'll do is flag them. And I have several little lists I may look at coming off the scanner. Here's a trap. You know, Ford again is in the trap, CSX, NPN, 3M, GN, BABA, HUN, XOM. So I might, and there's more there. So I might go down and like I say, look at those charts. And I do this, but about, the last 45 minutes or so, I'm starting to look at charts for tomorrow, or maybe I need to buy something. And then, like I said, I'll flag them for tomorrow. And then what I'll do is I may look through my TC2000 watch list, just kind of scan through them real quick. Nothing big, nothing major. I get most of my ideas off the scanner. For those of you who don't know, I've used a scanner, not this particular scanner. This is our scanner, brand new out. But I've used this scanner for 15, 16 years maybe. And I can't imagine being without it. And so I will find a lot of trades toward the end of the day that I will look at, and then I'll flag. And usually about that last 45 minutes. Hi, Elizabeth. Yes, absolutely. This will be recorded. And your granddaughter's birthday is definitely the most important thing. So you go take care of that, and we'll make sure this is recorded for you, okay? Thanks, Elizabeth. So that's kind of what I do for that last 45 minutes. And then, of course, you all know I'm also in the room, talking in the room, and you're seeing the charts that I might be looking at. I might talk about one, and at the same time, I'll flag it and have it ready to go. So then what happens is we have market close. And this is what I do most days. Now, every now and then there's a couple little changes, but this is a typical routine. I answer a few emails, and I'm done for the day. I am done for the day. For those of you who don't know, I'm a morning person, so I would much rather be up in the morning. I get more done the first couple hours of the morning than I can in the afternoon. And by the way, if anyone has any questions, please feel free. You're more than welcome to ask. I'm glad to answer. If I didn't cover something, I would be more than glad to make sure I cover it. So my day starts at about 5:30 East Coast time, a.m. And it starts with coffee and CNBC, in that order. So coffee and CNBC. I go enjoy myself a cup of coffee, maybe 2 cups sometimes, if drinking fast there. And I'm watching CNBC for any news announcements, overnight news, and I'm looking at the futures. That gets me going in my day. That just kind of gets me in the trading mood. This is my routine. At about 6:30 a.m., I sit down at my desk in my office. And I start writing a blog. Now, I have a star right there, and I have a reason for that, because I want to share something with everybody. I would highly recommend that if you don't journal something, and that's all a blog is a journal, okay? If you want to write your own blog, write your own blog. You don't ever have to publish it. Just go to whatever writing computer software you have. If you want to handwrite it, you can certainly write it. If you have an old typewriter, click, 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 you can certainly do it there as well. But if you want to take that next step in trading, and if you already do it, 2 thumbs up, that's great. But write yourself your own blog. Write, and if I mean, go look at my blog if you want. It's, on the website. Look at Doug's blog. Steve has a blog there for day trading. We all three kind of different, but the same in many ways. Go take a look at it. And what happens is when you write the blog, it makes you look at, for me anyway, the blog I write, it makes me look at the SPY. That's my go-to chart as far as the market goes. I do look at IWM. I do look at the diamonds, but I only really talk about the SPY. But I do look at the others. I look at IYT in the morning. I look at the VIX in the morning, and sometimes I post something about the VIX in the blog. And I look at another chart called FNGU. We'll look at that when we get into charts. I look at those, and I'm also looking at a 15-minute chart that's pre-market data. So I'm getting pre-market information. That comes on TC2000. I mean, you know, I forget what time it actually starts, but you can start seeing stocks moving, and, you know, I'll watch the market. I'll watch the SPY. For instance, Google reported what yesterday. So I had my eyes on Google a little bit this morning, watching just what was it doing? How was it acting? Things like that. So I highly recommend that to take that next step, make yourself better, start your own blog. You know, and again, you don't have to publish it. You don't even have to, I mean, just write it on a piece of paper. But you'll find that you'll pay attention to the market. It just adds a new layer into your trading career. Okay, so then what I'll do is, once I have the blog written, not necessarily posted, but written, then I will go in and I will look at the flag charts that I flagged last night, and I'll start making the members watch list, and then I try to narrow it down 5 to 5, between 5 and 10 is where I'm keeping it these days. And really, that's all I do in the morning. So far, you've seen my evening and my morning. And, well, let's see, there's a question here. Hi, Rick. Do you use any paid news services for news? Absolutely, I do not. If you want to, that I completely understand that. But if you have a paid news service, here is something you might do, which I do not think is good. You will constantly be looking at that service. In other words, is there any hot news coming out during the day? I personally feel that's a major mistake, because you're not trading news, you're trading charts. If you're here, you're trading charts anyway. If you're trading news, you might be in the wrong place. So let me grab a drink of water. So bottom line, no, my news service is CNBC. And by the way, I do not have a television in my office. So I cannot watch it while I'm trading. I have zero TV in my office. So I can't do anything at all. I can't even watch old John Wayne movies, which I would love to do that. So no on the paid service. Gwen says 2:30. Yeah, I agree with you. And you know, Gwen, I started my trading career in Fairbanks, Alaska. And I had to get up pretty early because I pretty much did the same thing back then as well. Pretty much. WordPad, or Jim's given some great ideas to write your blog, just to write it. Again, you don't have to publish or anything like that. El Dorado's on tonight. That's where I would be. Okay, so I did that. Let's go down one more. At about 8:45-ish, because I can't really predict exactly how long it'll take to write the blog. Sometimes a little more, a little less, give or take. And definitely more coffee. Once I have the blog published, I'm pretty much done with any kind of market stuff. I'm done. I mean, I've looked at the market overall. I've looked at some charts for tomorrow. And by the way, as I look, well, we'll talk about that later, afterwards, when we look at charts. So what I do at that point, I answer maybe a few overnight emails. I make sure all my programs are loaded. And then I always get, it always works out where I get about 10, maybe 15 minutes of relaxed time, where I just sit in my chair. In the room, there might be people posting, and I'm watching your post, because you guys post some great stuff. Man, you post some great charts. You might have a piece of news or something that, oh man, I didn't think about that, or wow, I didn't catch that. So that's what I do the last 10 minutes, probably 15 minutes maybe. I just sit there and relax. And then at 10 a.m. Eastern time, I come on, open the room up. Well, the room's already open. I come on, and then I start talking about the market, pre-market, for about 10 a.m. for 20 minutes. I have, and I basically repeat market thoughts, maybe what I have on the blog, a little differently. I talk a little different than I write. Not that anyone's any good, but market thoughts, and I cover the trade ideas. And from there, that takes me about that 20 minutes. Sometimes I finish a little early. Sometimes I push it right to the end. And then what I do is about one. Well, did I go to lunch? Oh yeah. Hey. Oh, you know what? I totally missed one, didn't I? Let's see. There we are. So I cover the trade ideas. And then at 9:30 a.m., the market opens. Now, I probably should have put a little star right next to this one right there. Take care of business. Trading is a business. It's not a hobby. It's a business. Treat it like a business. And any business, you're going to have a certain amount of theft. If you have a store, a brick and mortar store, you've always got to watch out for people trying to steal something. I mean, it is what it is. In stock trading, it's no different. There are people out there trying to steal your money. If you're long something and the stock is going down, far as I'm concerned, that's somebody stealing your money. So treat it like a business. When the market opens up, and this is a horrible rookie mistake, is rookies will go out and start looking for new trades. When the number one thing you should be doing, rookies, experienced traders that make a wheelbarrow of money, you should take care of your business first. In other words, you may have a watch list, but pay no attention to that watch list. Pay attention to the charts you already own, long or short. You might have a stock gapping up that you need to deal with. Maybe take some profits off, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you've got a stock gapping down or moving down really fast or moving up really fast, and you need to deal with. And the last thing you need to do is be drawn away from that, looking to get into new charts. There's plenty of time to get into new charts. Plenty of time. A little. For those that didn't know it, if you feel like you're missing charts, pre-market, you're watching your business, and a stock moves up that's on your watch list, and you feel like, dang it, I missed it. Just wait till the market's open 30 minutes or 40 minutes, maybe 50 minutes. The stock will pull back. 9 times out of 10, it will pull back and give you the entry you're looking for. So you don't have to be in a hurry to get into them. Now, what I do is I keep one eye on my business. I keep the other eye on the scanner, because I can watch what's going on in my portfolio and I can watch the scanner. And I have a couple of scanner windows that I watch. One of them is what I call big dogs. Big dogs is about, 60 stocks. And there's stocks like CAT, 3M, UTX, Google, Procter & Gamble, GILD, SQ, Merck. And I just went through the list of what's showing right now. I'm looking at it. Well, here, I probably should show it to you. There you go. There's stocks that's tilting to the upside. Here's stocks tilting to the downside. So I'm watching these two windows most of all. These windows are giving me, right at that very first open, right when the market opens, these are giving me kind of a feel of what the market is doing. Gives me a little feel. Just takes a minute to watch those, and you'll get a feel of that early market move. And at the same time, I can also see other windows that I'm looking at. So, and and then at the same time, you all know that I'm also in the trading room. So I'm working the trading room and my Road to Wealth account while I'm looking at some of those scanner windows. So then at about 11 a.m. Eastern, I go to lunch. I eat something. If I have coaching, I do some coaching then. That's usually when I try to schedule it. I do a little office work, and I always take a little time to sit at my desk and just close my eyes. I don't go to sleep. I don't take a nap, but I do close my eyes. I just power down a little bit, just rest. 5 minutes, 10 minutes if you can, 15 minutes. Just kind of recharge. Just take a breath. Don't worry about your account. It's not going anywhere for 10 minutes. Don't worry about any charts. Just relax. Just relax a little bit. I usually have music going on in the background. Even when the market is open and I'm talking to you guys, there's a little music going in the background. So I'm taking that in. I'm just kind of just kicking back here. And then, there we go. At 1 p.m. ish, not always right on time, but at 1 p.m. ish, I'm back at the trading desk. I'm back in the trading room. I'm back managing my positions. And about 3:15, it starts over again, just like Groundhog Day. It just keeps on. It's the same old thing, same old routine. Nothing changes, just over and over and over. And that is all I do. Couple things I didn't mention, which I don't know that this is healthy for anybody. I don't usually come back in the office and do anything once I'm finished. So market closes, I'm usually done in the office by 30 minutes after that. And I'm pretty much taking that time off. Sometimes I will get up in the middle of the night and I'll turn the computer on and then I will start looking at charts. But that's probably not important here, but that's one little thing I do. So that is literally, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess I didn't count the times that I might be talking to Doug or Ed, but yeah, but that's pretty much the way my routine is. And so I hope that answered some questions for a few people. And if it brought some more in, please ask them. So let's see here. There are some questions here. Malcolm, I have used the great flexibility of success. There you go. MS, no. I use, what is it called? God, I got to open it. OneNote a lot. I use OneNote an awful lot. Let's see. John says he likes to watch Bloomberg TV mute because you can see the futures indices. That's a great idea, John. Yeah. Where's the ice cream for the dog? Sometimes. Let's see. Gwen says she uses 5x8 file cards. Also use TC2000, green line, red line. Cool. You chart. You journal. Good. I think that's important, Gwen. I really do. I do mine in form of a blog. I do that in the mornings. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about until I start my day. At night when I go to bed, I've got no clue because I don't know what the market's going to do overnight. There might be some big change during the day, and I base my blog that I write in the morning based on what I see what's going on right now. So thanks, Joe. Okay, so let's see here. So pre-market, what I want to do is let's look at some charts. I mean, let's see if we can do this. So what I have is a trade list here, and this was today's trade list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all flags, and I'm going to remove all symbols from this list, just like that. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to bring it back in a minute, but I'm going to move it out of the way because the second I click on this chart, it's going to go behind. So a couple of things I'll do is I will look at a couple of watches. Now keep in mind, and I didn't do it today. I mean, I can do it right now because I have the scanner up. So I might look at a few charts, and here's what I will do. I will bring up a special chart that I have. Where is it? There it is. And all it is a list of charts greater than $1. I'm going to remove that volume because my volume is already taken care of for me on the scanner. So I'm just going to scan this real quick, and there's about 4,600 stocks on this. Now I'm not going to look at those. I'm going to look at scanner stocks. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a look at the scanner, and for instance, here's one scanner. This is my RBB. I call it the active, which means it alerts. As long as it's an RBB, it doesn't have to be making a new day high. So I'm going to look at this. I'm going to move this up because when I click on this chart, this is going to go behind. So I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to move it back up out of the way. So I'm going to come look at KHC and see how it highlighted over here. Look at that chart. Now I remember I was looking at an RBB chart, so I'm probably going to go look at my RBB chart. I look at that, I'm thinking, yeah. So I'm going to come over here and flag it. Now, I can see that the earnings are on the 15th. I rarely pay attention to earnings at this point. I don't pay attention to earnings. I don't want to take my focus off too much other than just looking at charts. That's all I want. I will deal with earnings in a minute. But right now, I look at this chart, I'm thinking, yeah, man, I want this on my list. So I'm going to flag it. Another one that's on that RBB list is JD. So I'm going to look at JD. And I see JD here. It's like, you know, I'm probably going to pass on JD. And here's why. I love the chart, don't get me wrong. But we've already been talking about JD. JD is probably on everybody's list. You should keep it there. Let's go see if we can find another one. But I know in my mind we can come back to it because I do think it is a buy on a breakout here above 25.40. I am not currently in it, and I would love to be in it, and I would be happy to buy this on a breakout and some consolidation right in here. But like I said, because we've been looking at it, I'll pass on it for now. Here's another one, WY. Let's look at WY. I'm liking WY. Some people might not like it because of this candle right here. I get that. And I don't really like it either because of that. But I like the overall chart. And all we need to do is see positive trading. And I would say positive trading up above that body. Or if you feel like you want to buy it lower, there's nothing wrong with buying in here. It's all about risk. It's all about risk. So let's talk about this for a second. What does this candle tell us? Does that candle tell us that this chart is going to just crash and burn? No, that's not what that candle tells us. Does that candle tell us we're likely to see a lower low? Yes, it does. And we did that. And now we have a higher low. So you know what? I'm going to add that to my watch list. It may not be on the final list, but I'm not going to pass a chart up at this point. Let's see, SWKS. SWKS just had a breakout. Everything's looking good. I'm going to flag it. Let's go look at Snap. I could put, well, I will. I will put Snap on the list. I like that too. Let's see. Peter's asking, are you scanning for optional stocks only? Here's what I'm looking at, Peter. I've got several alerts that I look at. These are from the scanner. And this scanner, I can dictate what stocks go on the list, okay? And what I have done is I've created a list of the top 300 of the CBOE list. For instance, if I right click, I can go to user defined manager list here, and I know it says 100. I just haven't changed the name on it, but there's 322 stocks in there. So does that mean they're all optional? I suppose if they're on that list, they are, but it doesn't mean they're a good option trade. All right. So what I have to do is go over to my trading program. I have to load it up, and I have to see where if there's good open interest, if it's a good, spread between the bid and the ask, if the delta's in the right place, I have to do that. So I can't guarantee that these are all good for an option trade. I can't do that. So, but I do scan from that list. I hope that helped you there. All right, let me put these back in place. Just give me a second here. Didn't take long to get them there. Okay, so here is ATVI. And so far, I've just looked at the RBB list. And I'm going to pass on that because it doesn't quite meet the RBB criteria. And I also don't want to fuss around with this gap here. Now, okay, I better stay with what I'm doing here. If I get sidetracked, then we're going to be in trouble. Let's look at Lowe's. Lowe's is on the list. Look how Lowe's is giving us a pop out of the box. So I might have to put that on the list. Again, right now I recognize it has earnings, but I don't usually pay attention to that till later on. So I'm going to flag it. Ford popped up on the list, which I don't really like the Ford chart, so I'm not going to go with that. UNP. UNP. I like the way it's consolidating here. Might go look at that weekly. We get that breakout. You know what? I might have to put that on the watch list. I want to remind everybody that when I put something on the watch list, it doesn't mean that it's time sensitive. I'm about the most untime sensitive person you've ever met. Nothing is of such priority you have to go jump into it right now. If I put it on the watch list, it's because I'm looking for something down the road. It could be today, it could be, but it also could be tomorrow. It could be because this thing breaks out, I want it on a watch list. I want it on my watch list. So I'll flag that. Let's see. Please repeat, at what moment of the day do you do that? I don't know what that is, JJ. You have to tell me what that is. Let's see. Ray. Is there a way to automatically scan for spreads, volume, open interest, delta, etc. using TC2000? I imagine TC2000 might have something like that. I don't use TC2000 to trade, and I know very little about that side of TC2000. I can tell you that that LTA, the live trading alerts, the scanner, it's being worked on right now to tell us the open interest, because that is the number one thing. The delta, there's always the delta in there. And if the open interest is good, then that's one of the main things I look for. And the spread, it won't tell what the spread is. You'll just have to look that up, I guess. But the open interest, we're working on that. And that shouldn't be too awfully long away. I just can't give a date because I don't know the date. So CSX is on the list. I'm going to pass on that one for now. BABA's on the list. BABA just broke out. Excuse me. So BABA is a stock that has my interest. And so I'm going to put this on the list because now that we've broken out, it's not so much, I think, necessarily a trade right away. More than anything, let it consolidate. And then I want to look for a buy signal in there. So basically what I want BABA to do is do just what it did here. And I'll start looking for that buy signal. Just what BABA did here. Start looking for that buy signal. Now that it's broken out, I want to see that buy signal. So I'll start watching for BABA. So I'm going to flag. Where's BABA? Oh yeah, BABA's not on there. I don't know why. So I'll just have to make a note of BABA and make sure it's there. It's on TC2000. For some reason, it's not on that list. Let's see what else we have here. HON, H-O-N, is there. I'm going to pass on that. Let's take a look at CAT. So these are just a couple that I see. GG. TXN. These are all showing up, but I'm not sure they're good trades, so I'm going to pass on that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to a couple of scans I have, and then I'll look at things like Starbucks here, possible breakout. I'm going to flag that. And I'm going to kind of speed this up a little bit. Look at Dish. Dish is right in that neighborhood, liking that. CSX, PHM, nah. And I fly through them pretty fast. Momo. Now I'm already in Momo. There's a lot of people in Momo, but I could see Momo being on the list again. So it's very possible that's on the list again. That looks good. Ooh, what was that? GM. Look at GM. All right. Now I'm going to go look at one more, and then we're going to call it good. So let's look at PCG. There are some PCG traders out there, and I'll tell you, if you're looking for a flyer, what I call a flyer, which is a stock that can just start ripping, this just might be it. So for fun, let's mark it. And again, remember, I'm not really paying attention to earnings. Look at win. See, I would put win. New, that's a very nice chart in new. Needs to pull back. That's a very nice chart. Tesla, no. Trip, no. We'll pass. Look at Caesars here. Look at that consolidation right there. That's a beaut. We're going to flag that. And that was all. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do, well, let's leave that up, is I'm going to bring that list back over. And this is what I do every morning. And now I'm going to copy. Oh, darn it. Just a second. I knew that was going to happen sooner or later. There we are. I'm going to copy. So there's 12 symbols. Copy all 12. Put them over here and paste them. Just like that. There you go. Now I'll go through and look at earnings. And at the same time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking at this chart right here. This is a chart that I have up. So when the market, pre-market, I can see what the chart is doing pre-market. Because how it closed may not reflect the way it's opening up. So I will keep this chart open that I'm looking at. And now I'll start looking at this. And I might look at earnings. I'll look at that chart. So far, so good. Earnings 220, so that's coming up. I'll just kind of make a mental note. We'll look at Starbucks. Earnings is good. Win. Earnings is good. Snap. Earnings. Earnings now. And we're actually up. So we're way here. I'm going to move this over for a second. Otherwise it'll disappear. I'm going to clear all that off. And I'm going to put a line right here. So Snap, we're way up here. So guaranteed I'm getting Snap off the list. That is not the type of trade I want on the trade list. So I'm going to unflag it, right click, and I'm going to remove it right then and there. SWKS, earnings today. Where are we at? Good grief. Here, I'm going to have to move this out of the way for a second. Erase all. And here's what I'm doing. I'm going over to this chart, and I'm just putting a line right there because that's where I know where it is. And I know you can have the little arrow right in there, but I can't hardly see it. So I don't ever pay attention to it. That's why I use that chart. So I've got SWKS gapping up. I'm taking that off the list. So I'm going to remove it right away. WYN, earnings is okay. Chart's okay. GM, earnings tomorrow. Nope. Say goodbye. Delete. CZR, earnings okay. Chart's okay. KHC. Dish and KHC. Got to question that earnings thing. Lowe's, earnings to 11. That one's out. That's too close. UNP in April. Chart's looking okay. So I've got to decide. Dish on the 20th. 15 days. KHC. You know what? I'm going to get rid of KHC and keep Dish. And there's tomorrow's watch list right there. Now, the one piece of information that I don't have, and I can't do that till tomorrow morning, is I will look at each and every one of these, and I will look at and see what they're doing pre-market. So if one is gapping way down, I get rid of it. If it's gapping way up, I get rid of it. And if the list gets too small, then I'll go look for other stocks. I mean, I can go find other stocks. That's not hard to do. I can always find something to put on there. So there you go. That's it right there. And I've already written my blog by now. The stock picks are usually the last thing I do. The blog is already written. All I do is pick the stocks. I post them in the blog. And here we are. And that's pretty much my routine throughout the day. So let's go look at these stocks. So which I don't think I'm going to trade PCG, but that doesn't mean other people won't. And I know it's kind of hot in a way. We start to get that breakout. Man, that thing could start popping up. Dish is already a buy to me. It's already done what we need it to do. We've got a Morningstar signal. We've got a flag. That could have been bought today. That could be bought anytime tomorrow inside that area right there. A little bit higher than the close, inside day. Starbucks is another one on that list. This is another one that could have been bought today or on that breakout. So real simple, right there. Just a little above that candle, a little above those highs. Inside day, that is all a good buy right in there. Let me draw this line right there. Yeah, I like that. Win was a buy today. Win was a buy yesterday. Win was the buy the day before. I don't particularly buy that first day, but any one of those 3 days can be bought. This stock still looks to me like it's moving higher. Again, we need to see what they're doing pre-market tomorrow. That could be a game changer, whether they come off the list or stay on the list. But right now, Win looks like it's moving higher, and buy on a breakout or buy inside that boxed area. Let's see, Bob is asking, what are my thoughts on GE? I came awfully close to buying GE today. The problem is I'm leaving for vacation next week, so I'm not going to be at my trading desk next week, and I'm truly taking vacation, so I'm not going to be doing any trading. But I almost bought it today. It took every ounce of me not to. So, Bob, I am bullish on GE right now. I think GE is doing fantastic. And as long as GE can stay above $9.80, this candle right here, I'm going to remain bullish on it. So tomorrow, what if GE does this? I'm still bullish. What if it does this? I'm still bullish. It doesn't mean that it's a buy. There's a difference between buy and bullish. Big difference. I'm still bullish on the chart. Now we need to wait for that buy signal. And if I bought it today, as long as it stayed above 980, I'm okay with it. If it pulls back, my stop is in there. If I start seeing buyers come in, I might add to it right in here. Targets, let's see, why do I have that? Yeah, there we go. I have 1120 because of that right there. 3 bars right in here playing touch. We've got the 200 here. We've got a lot of touches on this 1280 line. So right now, I'm personally bullish on GE. And yeah, we've got some time here. If anyone has any questions or any stocks you'd like to take a look at, please, please let me know. BK, thank you, Nigel. BK. All right, first of all, I got to tell you, any chart you put out there that looks like this, I'm going to be pretty happy with it. And here's what this is. This is when we have a rally up and a pullback to support. That's a nice chart. I like this chart. Doesn't mean it's necessarily a buy, but I like this chart. For buying, I would probably, excuse me, I would probably think about buying about over 52.70. That clears these 3 highs that touch that line. But more importantly to me, it clears this area right here. These candles, that low. And we get up into this candle, which is okay. But these 3 candles are probably the most important to me. And it just so happens it's right where it hasn't been through. So through, that would be a buy, knowing my stop was in this level here. If you want to be patient, maybe it pulls back and you get a better buy down in here. Nice chart, thanks. Malcolm, just by following this format that Rick has outlined, my trading for the month of January, just a second, there we are, went from a 55% to 45% win ratio versus loss ratio. Nice, Malcolm. Congratulations. Well done, sir. Well done. MTN. Gwen, I love that chart. I love that chart. I'll like it better when it gets over this area here. But what I love about it is that bottom. I like that bottom. Let's take a look at a 2-day chart, 3-day chart. And see right now I'm seeing a target up into here. And that's where I think the chart can make the biggest difference. But I like it from here to here. So about that 50-day simple, fill in that gap. I think that's a trade right here. Then it'll probably consolidate and then look for the trade to go higher. I do like that. Let's see, C. Here we are. That chart again, darn it. That chart pattern moving sideways. And anytime we get this tight box like this, this is what we would call a pop out of the box right here. Nice chart, by the way, Mike. So for me, you could be a buyer inside that box area. Could have been a buyer today or any one of these days. Or wait for that breakout right here. Somebody might be thinking, are you concerned about the 200-day simple moving average? No, I'm not concerned. And if you are, wait for it to get over the 200. I'm not concerned, but I expect consolidation. So if you buy here or you buy here, and then the chart consolidates in this area, and when I say consolidate, it might do something like this, you know, or maybe it actually moves up higher and pulls back. So if it doesn't do that, don't act surprised. Don't take both your hands, put them on your cheeks, make your eyes go big and your mouth open up like you're surprised. Don't be surprised at that, because that is very common. when we get to that 200 to break out and test or get up to it and consolidate a little bit. Outside of that, I think this is a 2 thumbs up chart. Beautiful, beautiful chart. In fact, I'm going to have to write that down. See. Let's see. Olga, Rick, what is your percentage of option trades versus stock trades? 100%. You know, for 30 years, all I traded was stocks. For this past year, I started trading options. And with the help of Doug and Doug's coaching, Doug helped me with options. And I trade very basic options, very, very basic. But it's one of those things where, do you want 1 scoop of ice cream or 2 scoops of ice cream? Let me rephrase that. Do you want 1 scoop of goodness or do you want 2 scoops of goodness? I'll take 2 scoops of goodness every which day. There is just a lot of money to be made in options. And so I trade 100% options. That does not mean you're in the wrong place. It doesn't mean, if you only trade stocks, it doesn't mean these charts won't work for you. Let me explain something. When I look at this chart, I am still trading the chart. When I trade an option, I'm trading the chart. All I'm trading is a directional option. The simplest thing in the world. It really, really is. And all I'm doing, using the options for, is to leverage my money. That's it. And I'm still trading this chart. My stop is still going to be right here. And in the options world, sometimes that can be a little bit, you question yourself, because what might be a little bit down in a stock, it's possible to be 25% on an option. So that took me some getting used to. That definitely took me some getting used to. But I focus on trading the chart, not anything else. So all right, what else do we have? Let's see, any other questions? KWEB, here we are. If you're long KWEB, Ted, I think you should probably stay long. For me, and again, if you're already long, I don't know where you got into it. I do know that this is a big time profit zone for me, big time. So more than likely, I would take at least some profits, or I would not buy it if I was not in it. What I would do is wait for a couple of things to happen. One, well, first of all, let's draw this box in here. Now I'm going to draw it way up here, and I'm going to draw it way down there. We're at a resistance level, you can see over here, plus that whole dotted deuce line is there. So what I'm going to need to see is a pullback from here and then another run at it, or I'm going to need to see a breakout and a pullback, and then we can start going. But right here against this line, I would not be a buyer personally. And if I was in it, I would have to consider profits. Nice chart, by the way. Hey, look, I'm not knocking the chart. I think the chart is wonderful. I really do. It's just not in the perfect place for me to be a buyer or to hold the whole thing. Let's see here. What was another one? NLSN. NLSN. We've got plenty of volume. Nice tight chart. So this is real simple, actually. Nice little chart pattern here. I'm going to just tighten that right up. And that's pretty tight. So you start to see a breakout. It is now in a buy area. Yeah. Nice chart there. Thanks, Thomas. I like the wedges. I like chart patterns. I like the little symmetrical triangle it's made right in here, or the pennant, if you want to call it a pennant. They're just nice and tight, real nice. Let's see, Olga. Olga's an option trader. Whoops, did I miss something? Did I hear you trade options and not stocks? Correct, Bob. Besides the 70 delta rule, are there any other rules or parameters that you use to buy options? Yeah, I look for an option that is about I'm going to say 50 days out. All right. That doesn't mean that I won't take a 40-day out trade. And today, well, yesterday, today, the trades I've been taking are actually only, I've been looking at the March 15. So they're only about 38 days out now. But I'm also going to be closing a lot of it. So if I know that I'm going to be in a trade a short time, heck, I might even take it for 10 days out. I might, only look out 10 days. That's pretty rare, but I have done that. But generally, I like this plus more. I'll buy a stock 200 days out. I don't intend to keep it that long, but if I certainly don't mind doing that. The 70 delta, I certainly will buy a 65 delta. I'll buy even an 80 delta. So 70 is kind of around that 70. I always look for 70, and then I go up or down if I need to. Outside of that, I just want some open interest in it. And that's about it, really. I really don't get too carried away. Excuse me. And Bob, if I didn't answer everything, please let me know. Let's see. Rick, I never hear you talk about shorting. Is that a no-no? Absolutely not, Keith. Shorting is wonderful. I do short. I do admit I like going long more, yes, but we absolutely short. When the market says to short, short. To give you an idea, I am currently still holding some SPY puts. So I am short the SPY right now. I am upside down on it at the moment, but I'm not going to throw it away. I am, like I say, so we absolutely short. You can talk about shorting as much as you want. So please bring them on. Let's see, VMC. VMC. Is there enough? Yeah, enough volume there. Boom, 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 boom. Kind of bouncing sideways. I look at the weekly chart, and if you're okay with that right there, because that's the trade to me. That's it. That's max the trade. Now, let me explain that for a second. I'm not saying it can't go higher, but I like to trade based on the chart. So I want to see buy signals. I want to see chart patterns, and I want to see where there's a problem. And I think there's a problem right here. Now, that doesn't mean that the chart can, say, come up here and just make some slight little adjustments and then continue. It can. But I can't count on this. I can, however, count on from this to here. So let's go back to the daily. If that is enough for you, if that is a good trade, then that looks like a good trade. It really does. It's just, is that enough? For me, that's probably not enough. So I don't think I would be taking that trade. I want more room to make money. Does that make sense? And that's just kind of trader's preference right there. I don't know that, not everybody agrees with that, and that's okay. And you're right, a nice wedge in here. And if it breaks out, I think that's a good trade, but I do think it's going to have to deal with that whole 200 and those areas right there. And Gwen, I think you're a little bit longer term trader than I am, I think. Just from some of your comments and some of your trades, you might be a little bit longer, and that might make that difference right there. Let's see. I will have to look at that strategy. Bob, if you have not traded options, don't just jump into it, okay? You probably need to take your time. And as far as I'm concerned, the best option trader I've ever run across is Doug. He's that guy with the good-looking face at the top over there. And honest to God, he's my option trading coach. That's one reason I don't talk about options too much, because I'm not an option guru. And what I do is extremely simple. But you do need help getting over a couple little things. So, and that's why I don't particularly talk about options too much. Why? Yeah, YY's, I think, putting in a nice little bottom here. I'm not sure we have a buy signal yet. I'm going to look at a 2-day, 3-day, 5-day. I look at the weekly chart, and I'm going to have to draw a line right there. I'm taking in consideration all this. This candle here is a big decision for me, so I'm going to put that line right in there. So over 72, I think I would like this, because it would be taking out this top. Anything down here, I'm personally not interested in buying it. But above that, I could be very interested in that. Trend indicator, let's go look at that chart. You're right. I like the way it's trending up, but you have to remember to look at the chart pattern too. And you have to remember to look at resistance. In fact, if I was to take this chart pattern, that's more of a short to me than a long. And here's what I would be looking at. Let's change this to red. So we're sitting here red now. And what I want to look at is this double top. I'm going to change the color. And let's do it this way. I wanted red. This double top. And now we have this evening star right here. Yes. Okay, you have to use your imagination just a little bit, because it's not perfect. But if you take this candle in consideration, and then you take this, so this candle, and then take this move up, and then take this move down, that's making a falling method. Now, if you open a book up, here's what you're going to see in a book. Here's what it looks like. And let's see, green. Well, we'll make it blue. So you'll see 3 candles up, and then you'll see the bar down. And whoops. There we go. And we'll make this color here. And when we break below this candle's low, so this candle's low, which we're below there now, that is a short setup. And that's what you have here. You have to use your imagination a little bit, but that is the pattern you have. Plus you have this evening star up here. You've got follow through right here. And this right here is setting up a nice bear flag, or a bear pop out of the box right in there. So based on the chart pattern, I would have to be a tad more bearish than I would be bullish. If it reversed and we got back up here, test, and we started showing some follow through, that would be a game changer. That would be a long right in there. Thanks, Olga. Yeah, Gwen, you're a position trader. A little longer trader than I am. Yeah. State of the Union. Waiting for us. I'm. We're not talking politics. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Dodger. And Olga, Rick, I am interested in option trading. Should I be transferred to Doug's room? I don't know. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about that tomorrow. This is a recorded webinar, okay? We can talk about it tomorrow. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And right now, the SPY is the SPY. It's hanging right in there. I think we're pushed up against resistance. We are pushed up against the 200-day simple moving average. I have no idea what tomorrow morning is going to bring. I don't have the foggiest clue. The one chart I want to leave you with that I watch faithfully every day is this chart right here. And on the daily, this is definitely a bullish chart. I love this chart. This is the FANG ETF chart. I've never ever traded it. I simply watch it. And it is definitely bullish to me on the daily chart. Let's back it down to an hour. And the hourly, little questionable right here. And on the 15-minute, you can see the 15-minute, we put this evening star up here, and we have follow through. Now it's back up a little bit, but we need to watch this. We need to be very careful with this chart. And if I start seeing this move down, then, well, we're going to have a little pullback. I have found this chart just not to lie to me. This chart tells me the truth. So, okay, I'll leave everybody with that. Again, thank you very much for being here. And we'll get this recording out and put out to you. Thank you again, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow morning bright and early. Take care.